Thanks for tuning in to What It Means for EdTech. There's a big misunderstanding in the education sector in the difference between what Office 365 education is and Microsoft 365 education. And many customers who I speak to think they're actually the same thing. This is just not true. And Microsoft 365 education offers you so much more on top of what you get as that free license with Office 365 education. So throughout this video, I'm going to show you the difference and how Office 365 education is different, but also all the additional things that you get with that Microsoft 365 education license. I'm not going to go into the difference between OBS and ES agreements and ES agreements and campus agreements and CSP. Just going to keep it purely talking about the Microsoft 365 education products and the 4 pillars that are within it. I like to describe Microsoft 365 education as 4 pillars. Office 365, EMS, standing for Enterprise Mobility and Security, Windows, and Minecraft Education. But how does this actually compare to what you have today as part of that free license with Office 365? So today you're probably used to, and what you get for free for being in an education establishment, the Office 365 A1 license, where we can get our SharePoint, our Teams, Exchange for our mail, OneDrive, Yammer, all sorts of different applications that are free as part of that. Where Microsoft 365 education comes in is it breaks down into additional paid for licenses. So for something that you're similar to paying today for your licensing as part of your licensing agreement, you're going to get something called the Microsoft 365 Education A3 license. And you can start to see here how the Microsoft 365 Education license adds additional features on top of that existing Office 365 A1 license. There's also a A5 license, and as we go through each of these 4 pillars, you'll see the difference between where the benefits are become from an A3 to an A5. Now, how can you actually check to see what you have today and what the license that you have? So here's an example of an admin center for an education establishment. And as I look around here, and I've gone to billing, and then I've gone to licenses down the left side navigation, I can see that I've got the Office 365 A1 faculty and student licenses. And I've actually also got the Office 365 A1 Plus license, which gives us one cloud benefit, which is the Microsoft apps that I can go and install Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook onto my desktop. So I get those for free, and I get that Plus license as part of an old agreement if you're still on the desktop pack, as it's called. What I should see is if I've now got my Microsoft 365 education licenses, I'll see these added to my tenant as well. And I'm buying those according to the number of staff, and there's also a calculation done for the number of student benefit licenses that you get. So you're still paying for staff. So the 4 pillars. Office 365. Yes, you know everything already. This is what you're already used to from an Office 365 A1 point of view. When we start bringing in the other additional licenses and we get it as part of the Microsoft 365 education license, we can see there's a whole bunch of additional features that come in as part of the A3. The Microsoft apps, 100 gig mailboxes, so we can try and fill 100 gig mailboxes now. We've got Teams features, unlimited OneDrive storage, as well as some security features that help us to do a little bit more monitoring and tracking and protecting our data inside of the Office suite and applications. In A5, we get an additional thing to help with Teams telephony. Nice little star there. This doesn't include the actual call plans to make any calls out. So you could use a third-party solution, or you could actually buy some additional licenses from Microsoft around calls, domestic calls, or international calls. The second pillar, EMS. Interestingly, you'll notice that this is called EMS E3 rather than A3. This is because it's very, very, very similar to the enterprise features that are in there. And the only difference is Intune education. And the big things that comes with Intune education is to help smaller establishments to be able to configure through a wizard the Intune and the configuration and the applications that you want. However, you can still do everything you need to within Intune if you have the education licenses. But we can also do our MDM. That's already there as part of the existing A1 license. But we've also got our Windows Pilot, Autopilot. We've got our Endpoint Manager. We can go off and use certain features around shared computer licenses and activating those Word, Excel, PowerPoint that we need to install on the desktop. But the key thing here also, and a big feature that people like, is around this Azure Active Directory Premium. P1 is what we're actually getting within the EMS E3, which enables you to do things like conditional access management. And in another video, we'll talk a bit more about MFA and the benefits that you get with this. But this means that you potentially could have your multi-form authentication enabled outside of your organization, but internally, nobody has to do that because we've set up some kind of conditional access around the IP and the external IP addresses that go out for your establishment. E5 brings in additional security features around Defender for identity and the cloud app security. So we're getting more logging and reporting around what applications that people are using and how they're accessing them. That includes those that are non-Microsoft that you've authenticated on top of your Azure AD. And we can also take advantage of privileged identity, entitled management, and we've also got that Azure AD Premium P2. We'll do another video at some point discussing the difference between E3 and E5. The third pillar is Windows. And what we actually have in here, we have this ability to be able to upgrade our machines to Windows 11 Education Edition. Within the actual Windows set of licenses, we can actually have our Defender and our anti-malware and our Defender firewall. So we see things from the UK DFE that says that they want to see the devices protected. And this is kind of where some of those licenses can actually go off. And Defender now is a market leader from an antivirus point of view. So we've got all sorts of different advantages around Defender and BitLocker. And we can also do some Windows information protection where we can actually look after files and how they're stored and that kind of thing. And again, there's an A5 license here with some additional features around that endpoint. Again, that's another video that we'll talk about when we talk about Windows 11. Our fourth pillar is Minecraft education. And Microsoft, a number of years ago now, acquired Minecraft, and I think more now around the metaverse, and this is a great way to have kids engaged. There's coding tools in here, and I'm quite excited to see how this further grows in the education space moving forward. We assign this to our students and to our staff, and it's still a teacher-led application. It's not as if a student can just go and start and using it. It is actually still controlled by the teacher. They have to create and build their environments out before the students can join. So just as a little recap, Microsoft 365 education is different to Office 365 education. Microsoft 365 gives you 4 pillars. So it gives you all the existing features of Office 365 and more. It gives you EMS. It gives you your Windows 11 education with protection around that device, and it gives you the Minecraft education as well. I hope you found this video useful, and I hope it explains a little bit more around the difference between Office 365 education and Microsoft 365 education. Please do hit the like and subscribe button, and any thoughts or any questions, please do leave them in the comments below, and I hope to be able to chat to you soon. Cheers.